Shalom, my dear friends. This week on Thursday will be the first Yahrzeit and a one-year anniversary on the Jewish calendar since the brutal murder of 1,200 of our people on the joyous day of Simchat Torah in the Holy Land of Israel. And the question many have been asking me and that have been on the mind of many is, Rabbi, how could we dance on this Simchat Torah? Is it wrong to celebrate on such a sad day? How can we be happy after the terrible tragedy that we have experienced this past year? Now, although there are a minority of rabbis that have suggested some modifications to the dancing of Simchat Torah to acknowledge the pain of the past year, however, the vast majority of rabbis around the world understand that Judaism is not built on tears. Judaism has been built on celebrating our unique identity and our special holidays, no matter how tough things go. And we instinctively understand the secret of Jewish survival through our long and often painful history has been our ability to never lose hope or give in to despair. From the brutal murder of millions during the Roman destruction of the temple in Israel, to the Spanish Inquisition, to the concentration camps of the Nazis, Jews have never stopped cherishing and celebrating the gift of Torah, the gift of the Jews. And as Jews, we understand that while tears and outrage have a place, crying over our losses will not save us from extinction. It is our ability to celebrate our Judaism, our holidays, even while in the ghetto and the camps, that have proven our resilience and staying power for the day. Because it is only through remembering our many miracles and our determination to celebrate our love for Torah, our love for God, our love for one another, that we can ensure that a beautiful Jewish strong future will survive and exist forever. Because Jews are like the iconic burning bush that Moses saw, a bush that burnt but was never consumed. We are still here today because we never stopped shining. Our light was shining, and we sang the song of praise to the Almighty. So friends, we need to dance and sing on this Simchat Torah until the whole world dances with us. Yet the real question is, it shouldn't be if we should dance, but the question really could be, how could we dance while crying at the same time? How could we sing on Simchat Torah and act as if it's still a happy day when it's become permanently scarred by the pain of October 7th? Now friends, the truth is, that's an excellent question. But the fact is that Jews have always lived a life of paradoxes and seeming contradictions. And we will not be the first Jews in history to dance with tears streaming down our face at the same time. And although I sincerely pray and believe that this will be the last generations of tears before the generation of the redemption. But for now, let me share with you a story I recently heard that is actually pulsing through my heart and which is the mindset which I'm entering this holy day of Simchat Torah. About 10 years ago, a colleague, Rabbi Shais Taub, met a man named Sam Shapiro who was a resident at an assisted living in Chicago. And this is a most heartbreaking story that I hope you can take to heart. Friends, open up your hearts, open up your ears, listen to this. This man, Sam Shapiro, was 9 years old when World War II broke out in Poland. And his father realized that soon they're going to be rounded up and killed. His father had a very close non-Jewish friend who agreed to hide his son until the war would be over. Needless to say, the young Sam was scared and he was afraid to be alone. And he refused to be separated from his parents until eventually his father made him a promise that gave him some comfort and with which he agreed to go hide in his father's friend's home. Sam's favorite day of the year was Simchat Torah, when all these scrolls in their synagogue, they opened up the ark and they brought the scrolls in the small town. And they took it out of the ark and the father would dance with him. They would take the Torahs out and Sam's father would put him on his shoulders and he would dance around the bima with the holy scrolls. So his father made him a promise that in a few weeks it's going to be Simchat Torah, and he would come back to get his precious son, so that he can put him on his shoulders and they can dance together. Simchat Torah, again, you can imagine, during the war came and went, but the father didn't come, because sadly, for 4 years the boy was waiting for his father. Every Simchat Torah he was waiting. When will my father finally come back so I can dance with my father and sit on my father's shoulders on this joyous day? But then the war was over and he found out the terrible news that his father had been taken by the Nazis and he was killed. And now here he was a young orphan with no family and he was sent to a displaced persons camp where there were hardly any other children. Most of the survivors there had been through the horror of the concentration camps and they were just now like a mere shell of their former selves. So this DP camp had a makeshift shul, a makeshift synagogue, and it even had a Torah scroll. So then came Simchas Torah, and unsurprisingly, nobody was able to dance. The war was just over. They lost their families. Nobody danced except for this one little boy. He was unstoppable. He was jumping. He was singing. He was running around in endless circles in this somber room. And some of the adults were actually offended by his behavior. Some worried maybe this boy lost his mind. And one of the boys came over and said, Yingale, which means little boy, what are you doing? Sam, by this point, he was 13 years old. He told this man of his father's last promise that after the war, they would once again dance together on Simchas Torah. And this 13-year-old boy said as follows, "What difference does it make to you," asked the boy, "if I dance on my father's shoulders or if he dances on mine?" Friends, tomorrow, this week is going to be Yizkor. We're going to remember the 1,200 names of the Kedoshim, the holy ones who were murdered a year ago. But then tomorrow night, that means this Thursday night, we will dance. Not just any dance. We're going to have a dance that will be 1,200 times stronger, greater, and more lively than ever before. Do you know why? Because these 1,200 souls now in heaven don't need us to cry for them. They need us to dance for them. So we will dance for them. And they will be on our shoulders and we will dance with them. So I invite you to please join us this Thursday night at 7 p.m. at Chabad of Nashville to dance for the 1,200 souls. Come hungry for a big dinner. Bring your dancing shoes, for you're going to have 1,200 souls dancing on your shoulders. The future of the Jewish people depends on you, my friends. I look forward to celebrating this beautiful day of Simchas Torah with you and with our entire community. And we know that God is going to bless us with good days ahead. We're going to have time soon, and all the tears are going to stop, and we're going to see great miraculous days as the glory of the Almighty God is going to fill this world with the coming of the Mashiach. May it happen speedily in our days. Chag Sameach, Gut Yom Tov.